All right, I'm here with Makaila, still McClelland, correct?
Yeah. Soon to be, well, Olsen, just not official.
You're getting used to it, M-O?
Yeah, I guess.
So she's getting used to it because for those of you that have seen Instagram or Facebook or just have checked out squattherapy.com, you've seen a tremendous difference in this girl. And also, Ollie's here sleeping. He was very playful when we first, he tired himself out. So the reason I have her here is because she's made tremendous progress, and you can see she wasn't a very big person to begin with. When did we first meet?
I think it was the middle of June. Yeah, and I think I started counting towards the end of June, like probably the third week of June.
So we met, I remember we met at Food and Thought.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of my clients on the phone, but we both live in Naples. You work for Lululemon,
Mm-hmm.
and we met that way. And what was your goal when we first sat down?
My goal was to, I think I wanted to weigh 107 pounds.
And what were you starting at?
I was like between 118, 120, on a good day 115, but pretty much 118.
So a little over 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember back in June we had the numbers 10, 17, 15.
Yeah.
I still remember those because
Yep.
that was your wedding date. So we had a few months.
Yeah.
And we sat down, we went over, what were your initial thoughts when we wrapped up that meeting, when we said, okay, you're going to start keeping track of your macros?
My biggest thing was, how am I going to get all this protein in? Because to be honest, I don't eat a lot of meat, and I was like, that was my number one thing. And I remember thinking, this is silly, I'll find a way. But my biggest thing, I think, was when you said, just hit your numbers. It's like, it's not like science, just hit your numbers. And I'm like, but how? Like, I don't know how that's going to work. And next thing I knew, it was like a game. I was like, oh my gosh, what can I do to hit this? And how am I going to get zero? And yeah, and then after, after several weeks starting to notice results, I was like, this guy's legit. He knows what he's talking about. So
I'm legit. Did you believe me? When we sat down and I said you can do it, be honest, did you think, yes, I can get to, you say 107, I feel like it was 105.
I think a few weeks in I said 105.
Okay.
After I realized that it was happening.
But when you left Food and Thought, did you have faith that you can make it for your goal weight on your wedding?
Yes and no. I'm a very determined person. So if I set my mind to something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it right. So I did, and I also thought, I'm short, I'm 5'2", and I have a busy summer, and I'm in nursing school. Like, how is this really going to be like doable? And so part of me was like, I don't know. Yes, I believed it, and no, I didn't. I'd seen several before and after pictures of other clients you'd helped, so I had faith in that, but I also, I don't know, I was a little hesitant.
And that's okay. Yeah. Well, how long did it take you to start to think to yourself, this is working? When was the first indication that eating this way was working for you? Was it the scale? Was it in the mirror? Was it your clothes fitting differently?
I think it was probably a little bit of everything. I saw the scale changing little by little, and there would be a few days it'd go down, and then a day it'd maybe go up like a half a pound or, whatever. So that was big. But then I came to a point where I didn't want it to be about numbers. I wanted it to be more about like how I felt, and I noticed a huge change in that.
Meaning what? What did you feel differently?
When I first got my numbers, I thought, how am I going to live like, I would think I was eating close to 1,400 calories, and I thought, how am I going to have energy? I CrossFit, I run, like, how am I going to do this? And I remember texting you one day, and I'm like, I actually have more energy than I've ever had. So that helped me out like a lot. That helped me realize that it was working. My clothes started to feel a little bit better. I just felt better all around.
So was it daunting? When I sent you your numbers, did 1,400 calories seem like it was going to be depriving you of food, or did you come to realize there was enough food and kept you satisfied?
I thought at first it wasn't going to be enough, but yeah, within the first, I'd say 5 days, I was like, oh, this is this is plenty. And I think part of it was maybe I was eating close to 1,500 calories before, but it wasn't in the right foods. I know I wasn't getting enough protein, and I know I was probably getting way too many carbs. And so knowing that I'm eating pretty much the same amount of calories, but the right types of foods, I think is what helped.
What was the first food you ate that you would have normally considered a cheat food?
Oh gosh, I like sneak cheat foods in all the time.
Oh, so you're already cheating.
No, not cheat. I just make a fit. Like.
But right. So what was the first food you thought to yourself? Normally, this is a cheat food.
Okay.
So when I started, it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I was like, I would never eat this, but I'm gonna believe in this lifestyle and eat it. So what was your food, and then how did you feel?
Oh, what was it? It honestly might have been a Dunkin' Donut.
Really? When you went just all in, Dunkin' Donuts.
And I remember thinking, yeah, I had one donut, and I had
donut? Is it donut in Kansas?
Donut.
You're from Kansas, so
Yeah.
you have a little bit of a donut accent.
How do you say it?
In donut.
Donut, okay.
How do you say it?
Donut?
That's good.
Okay.
The Kansas version.
So I had one donut, and I remember thinking, God, that's a lot of fats. That's a lot of carbs.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, and I made it work. And I was, later in the day, I mean, it was worth it, but it fit.
And now, what do you do more? Like, what's something you enjoy squeezing into your macronutrients now?
I like at night, I'll have like some Greek yogurt, which has protein in it, but that's like I always try to save like a snack for at night, so it's something to look forward to. So throughout the day, I have, I try to plan my numbers out the night before, and if it doesn't happen then, I do it the morning of. And I always try to have something, sometimes it's like an apple, just because.
Okay, that's not really.
I know it's not a cheat, but.
That's like, I'm eating healthy today.
I did have a Pop-Tart the other day, and
nice.
I haven't had a Pop-Tart, red velvet. I hadn't had a Pop-Tart in
good
years.
Good choice.
I was allowed one, so I squeezed that in.
Pop-Tart's like 37 carb, 5 fat. That's what I remember.
Yeah, it was about like that. 20-some, yeah. So, I don't know. I have a sweet tooth, so that was hard for me. I went a long time without eating any chocolate because I got a lot of chocolate from my Quest bars, so that was considered my chocolate.
Right.
But,
So, yeah. Smaller female, and you were worried about protein, and we see this a lot. Whether it's a female or male, it's typically more protein than they're used to eating. Mm-hmm. How did you overcome that? What were some things you did to ensure you were probably about 95 or 100 mm-hmm. grams of protein?
About 96, 98.
So and you're still right around there? Mm-hmm. So what changes did you make to your lifestyle to ensure that you got enough protein?
I'm obsessed with Quest, everything Quest.
So you eat a lot of, I know I see it over there, you have Quest protein over there.
I limit myself to, I don't do more than one bar a day, and
okay.
I try not to do like a protein shake and a bar.
One chunk of protein is coming from a supplement,
right?
Whether it's a bar, and that's typically what I recommend. If you're really adverse to eating meat, no more than 2. So not force, but try to make sure you're getting the majority of your protein from real foods, and you're doing that.
Yeah, I eat beef jerky is my go-to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't eat a lot of red meat, but beef jerky I can do. I don't know what it is about it. Same thing with chicken. I do eat chicken, but I don't like to make it myself, so it's a little.
Now you have a husband.
Exactly,
now you have a husband for that.
I do eat a lot of deli meat. I try to do the less, I know it's processed, so it's not the best, but eggs. I eat a lot of eggs and a lot of Greek yogurt.
Well, that brings up a point. I hear that a lot. It's processed. Well, if you were eating the same amount of calories prior to this, most likely you were eating processed foods that way. Just it wasn't protein. It was carbohydrates or fat. So at least now we're doing it, like you said, in the right macronutrient breakdown. How has planning ahead worked? You mentioned earlier you plan ahead. Do you still plan the night before? Well, we'll talk about you kind of had a little break. You got married, congratulations. Yes. And all that good stuff. But how was planning ahead helpful? So someone's new. How did planning ahead evolve for you? Was it an arduous task when you first started? And now is it any easier?
Yes, to both of those. So when I first started, I was very, very adamant about every night I would put in my numbers for the next day. And I would tell my fiance, like, we can't go to dinner tomorrow. I already have my numbers planned out. Like, when are we gonna go to dinner this week? Because I have to plan it.
How did he handle that?
He was okay because we were saving money, and he would go, grab his Chipotle and,
saving
come over
money.
and
My fiance is looking awesome
Yeah,
for our
exactly.
wedding. Win-win.
Yeah.
Why is he not doing this yet?
Well,
I've never
I'm
met
talking
him.
him into it. I'm trying to talk him into it.
Okay, because I've got
So
Sydney and her
Yep.
boyfriend Craig. We got a
Yep.
whole Lululemon crew
I
doing it.
know.
Craig is doing amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen Sydney.
I haven't seen her.
Other
Couple weeks.
Lululemon people.
Yeah.
So you would plan your day ahead.
Yeah.
How long did the first time, if you can think back, how long did it take you to plan that day?
I remember. I'd say, at least 15-20 minutes, just because
That's not that
I
bad.
didn't. I'm pretty aware of nutrients and what's in certain foods, but not down to the gram. It's like, oh, I know that eggs have lots of protein, but did I know that they're higher in fat and this and that? And so that took a while. And I'm very anal when it comes to things. I wanted to hit 0 every single time, and I came to realize, like, I would cut just like the tiniest piece of an apple and weigh it over and over, and finally I'm like, this apple's gonna go to waste. Like,
My dogs love that. That's what I said.
Yeah.
They know when the scale comes out. Be ready for extras. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say it took close to a half an hour. But then after probably like a week, I started realizing, like, oh yeah, I remember this is high in this and this is high in this, and I could plug things in. I always kept certain things in my pantry or my refrigerator that were only high in certain macros, so that at the end of the night, if I was plugging it in and I couldn't figure out what to eat, I would, have that.
What's your go-to protein?
Beef jerky or deli meat.
And your carb?
Candy.
Like what? What's your candy?
I like the what are they? Chewy sweet tarts. They have like a lot of carbs and no fat, no protein.
Like the old school sweet tarts with
They're
the chewy,
extra chewy, yeah.
like a gummy bear type of thing.
No, just like they have a crispy shell and you bite into it, it's chewy.
All right. And
Yeah.
what about your fat?
My fat I struggle with. I've had to do the butter thing,
That's the best.
and it actually wasn't bad because
It's
had
ice cream.
the
It's
night
soft
before.
ice cream.
I knew because I had planned it out that that's what I needed to eat, and I melted it on a Quest bar, and it was amazing.
Butter on a
cinnamon
Quest?
roll, and I melted on a Quest. I heated the Quest bar up and put the butter on it, and it melted, and it was really good.
Sounds delicious. I think,
Yeah.
and that's a good something I try to tell people. If you plan ahead, you see that
Mm-hmm.
because butter is easy to add for fat, and I'll look through. Okay, well, rather than being stuck having to eat 2 tablespoons of butter at the end of the night, well, had I put that on the vegetables or the Quest bar I ate earlier, it wouldn't be so bad. But again, eating spoonfuls of butter is
I've never
not
had to
the
do it
worst
plain.
thing.
I put
it's
it
so
on
good.
something,
You look
but-
at it, it's like if you like ice cream, you should like butter. I mean, it's all the same thing. So I want to dive into, you went on vacation too, and I want to get into that. But what's your best tip for someone just getting started with this? What would you say, here's something that really helped me, I think it would help you as well?
That's tough. Honestly, I would say it's probably the advice you gave me, and it's hit your numbers. Like, I know that sounds silly, but that's all it is. Like, you provide, you do the math behind it, and just like hit your numbers. I know what I like to do is know what I'm eating for the whole day, so I know when to eat it. There's times I wake up and I'm hungry, and I'm like, dude, if I eat everything on this, in my fitness pal, I have nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to think about when I'm going to eat certain things. I like to treat myself to something special. Like I said, in the evening.
An apple.
Well, sometimes it's an apple. If I eat all my carbs and something else, then. But I like to know I have certain things that, like I said the other night, a Pop-Tart, and it was like throughout the whole day I had all my numbers, and that was my all right. This is what I get before I go to bed. So I don't know.
I think that's good advice. And does it help to know that, because it's kind of my belief, this is what you need to eat today. If you, like you said, eat it all for breakfast, that's what my body needed.
Mm-hmm.
If you continue to eat more, you're not going to hit your goal.
Right.
So is it helpful to look at nutrition that way? This is what my body needs to thrive, not just to survive, but to actually thrive and maximize my genetics. Does it help to look at it
definitely,
like that?
definitely. And It is, and it's kind of crazy because I've only been doing it a few months, and I've seen differences on the scale. I've seen people I haven't seen for months that give you compliments like crazy.
Well, your before and after picture was one of my. I've had some really amazing ones, and when I put yours up, I've had 10 of your friends reach out to me. Some local and some outside of here, and it was drastic. And again, I think you like you said, you're 5'2", so the difference was amazing. Mm-hmm. But you had a plan and you worked that plan.
Yeah, and I feel good. My clothes fit different, which is good. And
well, your biggest difference in clothes was your wedding dress.
Yes.
How significant was that?
Well, I had already told you that I was going to send you the bill for my alteration.
Was it a substantial I don't know anything about wedding dresses.
It was so my dress was strapless, and when I went to put it on, I flew home and I got home at like 2 a.m, and my biggest thing was I have to try this dress on. I'm getting married in 3 days. This dress doesn't fit. I live in a small town. Closest alterations place where I got my dress was 2 hours away. It was just not convenient. So I put it on at 2 a.m, and my mom kept saying, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine."
Was it big?
She was trying to make it work, and I thought, it'll work. And I went to turn, and I turned, and the dress didn't, and I just turned inside of it. Yeah. And I thought, this isn't going to work. And there was a part in our first dance that was choreographed, and I was supposed to dip backwards, and I dipped, and the whole dress just slid down, and I thought...
It was a show. You were putting on a show at the wedding.
Yeah. So it was a big difference. I went into a local alteration place, and they took a lot. They did it fast in 3 days. I picked it up the morning of my wedding at 10 a.m. and
it fit all right.
It was perfect.
What was your first dance?
Ed Sheeran, Thinking Out Loud.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
So before we get to the wedding, there was a point in the summer where you went away.
Yes.
For quite a bit of time,
yes.
like 3 weeks, wasn't
Almost
it?
a month, yeah. Like 3 days short of a month.
So let's help people that are newer to eating this way. Were you stressed out?
Kind of.
I mean, I got your text.
Yeah.
So I can vouch for the fact that you handled it well. So what was your mindset?
So my biggest thing was I was going home for a couple bridal showers, my bachelorette party, and my thing was I want to have fun. This only happens once. Like, do I really want to go to my shower and know that I can't eat something because I'm counting my macros? And I came to the conclusion after I text you, I'd say, do I have to count this? And he'd respond saying 10:17. I'm like, okay, that means yes. But my biggest thing was, it's called flexible dieting for a reason. And before, when I would sit there and have like seconds or thirds or maybe like 3 cinnamon rolls or whatever, I decided I'm not going to count, the day of my shower. I said, I'm not going to count today, but I'm just going to be aware. So I know about, how many carbs are in this fruit, and I know, what's in this and that. So I had smaller portions, and I was able to be satisfied. I didn't go back for seconds or thirds. At the end of the day, I was happy. My biggest thing I was worried about was when I was home. Every year, my family goes on a week vacation. We rent cabins, stay on a lake, do nothing but drink beer from sun up to sundown, and just veg out on the boat. And I remember my brother-in-law kept saying, "What happened to the fun, Makaila? You'd always be wasted. What's going on?" And I said, "The fun Makaila wants to look good on her wedding." And it was just my thing. I was smart about it. When I'd pack my lunch to go out, normally I'd pack a sandwich full of bread and mayo and stuff, and it was like, no, I packed deli meat, and I packed a piece of cheese, and I pack a Quest bar, and I maybe have 3 beers, but I was like smart about it. And in the evening, it would be a little harder, but I came back from my trip, and I had lost weight, and there was a good week and a half that I didn't count to the exact number. I just knew in my mind, about how much I was eating.
So the big takeaway was it brought you awareness.
Huge.
Where normally you would have had more beer.
Oh, yeah.
So you kept your beer in check.
Mm-hmm.
But because you were drinking beer, you knew you had to limit your carbs elsewhere.
Right.
So and you came back from a full-blown vacation with beer drinking and a bachelorette party lighter than you left.
Yes. That was when I was like, this stuff works. Like, this works. This is real.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
You were, I was worried about you, but you did well. So we started, you said you're around 115 to 118. What are you today?
Well, I haven't weighed myself since the wedding, but I woke
What'd you get to at the wedding?
103.
So, I mean, you lost over 10% of your body weight.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that way, but yeah.
Is this the easiest? I mean, I people like to say, don't say diet. Don't. It's a diet. You're.
Yeah.
And we're all on diets, whether we're keeping track or not. Is this the easiest diet you've ever done?
By far. I was one of those girls that I always was trying the new fad. You know, the cottage cheese, only eat cottage cheese. Or
well, I never heard of that.
Oh,
the
in high
cottage
school,
cheese.
all you eat is cottage cheese and carrots. Or everything from, I'm not going to eat for 3 days because I want to look skinny. Or I tried everything. And I tried Weight Watchers, and I tried all this stuff. And it's bad, but I used to say I love to work out. I love exercising. So I would work out, and I thought, well, that's good because I don't eat the best. Like I said, I have a sweet tooth, and I know it's not healthy, but I like to eat junk food sometimes. And so I felt like I would be working out just to maintain a weight because of what I was eating. And now I look at food in a completely different light. My relationship with food is different. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it, but I don't know. It's I look at things differently, and you know, I took a week off when I got married. Jason said it was okay, and
I gave you the approval.
Yeah, I texted him 2 days before the wedding and said, "So is it okay if I don't count my macros?"
You asked me, I think, if you needed to count on your wedding day.
Oh, well.
At one point, I said, I think
your wedding,
you'll be all right. Yeah.
But you know, we had a dinner, you know, the day after the wedding, and I like sat down and looked at the food, and I just thought, like, this is all my macros in one setting. And at the time, I thought, I just got married yesterday. My dress fit. I looked fabulous. It's okay. I can pass today. But it's just crazy how you know, I'm not like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna eat tonight? And you know, it's more like, what does my body need, or what can I have? And yeah, it's kind of hard. I don't know how to explain it.
I think you're explaining it perfectly.
Yeah.
I think you're nailing it without nailing it.
Okay.
And it's been really good. It's been awesome to work with you this whole time, and it's fun for me because I know every new person that I work with, they can do this. Just like I knew when I met you in June, you'll look great on October 7th. I mean, you look great no matter what, but I knew you can get to be where you wanted to be. Do you think you'll just continue forever?
I will. Like I said, I took the last week off, and it was like, I was like, I'm really ready. Like, you know, I wanted to enjoy this. We didn't go on a honeymoon yet, but I wanted to enjoy the week after marriage, and all we wanted to do is pop champagne and drink wine and celebrate every night. So I said, I'm not going to do anything this next week, and I didn't. And I started counting again yesterday, and I was like ready, and I feel good. It's like, yeah, I'll always, I think I may have a little more slip ups where, oh, I'm not going to probably count today, but it still is going to affect in a good way my everyday life, my everyday eating.
Do you have your cake in the freezer for your 1 year
anniversary? I don't. It's at home. I'm back in Kansas, so my parents are bringing it down.
They're going to bring it down. Yeah. You'll track it. They'll weigh it. Maybe Ollie will get a little bit of cake.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great, and I'm proud of you for doing it.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get your new husband on board after he watches this, and
yes,
it'll be a family affair, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone improve.
All right. Cool. Thank you.